is it? I'm tired.
Saturday. Oh, stop. Never mind. And then joined also by Toby. How you doing, Toby?
I'm a little bit irritable today because
I got a whiny Scotsman and an irritable Britishman. What
yeah,
the
I've
hell?
got a weird twitch on the bridge of my nose. I've had it for a day now, and it's so irritating.
Well,
Just like
you sure it's not a Harry Potter thing?
it's just like pulsing like right here on the bridge of my nose, where my glasses sit as well, and it's just
Don't take your glasses off.
because I can't see.
Yeah, but you need to see like everything.
Yeah, I can't literally that far in front of my face. Things start to go blurry.
Oh my lord, you're
It's like a foot in front of my face. That's all I can see.
That's horrible. Well, why don't you pull them down a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wear them at the bottom of my nose. It's just
Why
even
not?
weirder because it feels weird. It makes it feel like my nostrils are going to get close together.
You might suffocate. I'm
Oh.
going to get a mouth.
Oh, it's horrible. I don't like it.
Alright, so we're going to kick this episode off like we do every episode with our Geek Outs. Toby, I'm going to throw it to you. What are you geeking out about today?
Right. So I discovered a company today called Flashback Entertainment, and I have got a sort of a love-hate feeling for them because at first I found out that this company sell like new SNES games, right? But they're not actual like SNES games that Nintendo released. They are ROM hacks that people have made, and they put them into actual SNES cartridges that play on actual SNES consoles. They make a box for it. They put a brand new manual in. You get posters and stuff in there. It's all plastic sealed, like a brand new SNES game, but it's a ROM hack. And this website sells them, and they're about $40 to $50 per game.
Wow.
And you can even buy, you know, like the old Link to the Past BS Zelda, you know, the Satellaview stuff. You can buy that as a ROM in a SNES cartridge. So, you know, part of me thinks it's so cool seeing all this like new SNES game stuff and alternate versions of A Link to the Past and Metroid that people have made. But I don't like the way that they're using Nintendo's properties to earn their own money from. So, and you can download these ROMs online for free, and all they're doing is packaging it and selling it, and it rubs me the wrong way a bit. But it is really cool. If it was like their own games that they made from scratch and not Nintendo's IPs, then I'd feel different. But it is cool.
But we run that issue of this is what happens. Nintendo finally gets wind of it, they shut it down, and then everybody turns on Nintendo and blames Nintendo. But at the end of the day, like some of it's cool, some of it's not. Like I bought the Mother 3 ROM hack.
Yeah, exactly.
In my mind, like I'm never going to be able to play that game because Nintendo hasn't brought it to the United States yet.
But this
is a little different. This is a little different. But it's still the same because essentially like it's not a game that was put out by Nintendo. But here's the difference. If Nintendo does put this game out, I'll buy it full force, like I have with Earthbound. I bought it on. Actually, what I did was I bought Earthbound on my Wii U, then I bought it on my 3DS recently. But when I bought the ROM hack per se, the translated version, I actually came upstairs and bought Earthbound on Tony's Wii U just because I wanted to like clear my conscience a little bit. Like, hey, I've given Nintendo some money for this. You know what I mean? Like, so not saying I'm a little crazy when I do all that stuff. I know that I don't have to, but I just kind of feel obligated to.
Yeah.
Alan, what are you geeking out about?
I'm going to say it's going to rile you up the wrong way. I don't care. Civil War's out in, a week? Come on, people. Civil War. I've been reading previews. I've been avoiding reviews, but I'm kind of more excited just to see Spider-Man. Because everyone seems to say Marvel have nailed Spider-Man.
I mean, it's interesting, Alan, but I don't feel like there's been any hype for this film at all. You know, when you compare it to Batman vs Superman, everyone was talking about that for months. Everyone couldn't wait. But I haven't heard anyone, barely even you, Alan, talk about this. Like, it just sort of crept up out of nowhere.
I think it's one of the situations Marvel's kind of in now. It's kind of like kind of Nintendo with their big releases. We all know they're coming, and the fans are going to put the word out. And you know, folk are going to be listening in. They're going to go see it. But for me, it's just been reading that because Spider-Man loved the character. Were Marvel going to pull it off? From the sounds of it, they have. So yeah, and then also we've got the announcement of Spider-Man Homecoming. That logo is kind of really 80s looking. So I can't wait to see what we're getting, because apparently Tom Holland nails it, and that's another British actor, you know, filling an American actor's role. Just saying, we Brits do what the Americans can't.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, because Ben Affleck was so horrible as Batman, right?
Yeah, he was alright,
Yeah.
but Christian Bale was very, very good as well.
Stop. Just stop. See, now you're being a troll, and you're just being stupid.
I mean, and I don't want to say it, but you know, Henry Cavill, despite being boring, he looks the part as Superman.
Oh, so the guy that you hate and you can't stand as Superman, you know, he looks like Superman. Get the hell out of here with your nonsense.
You know what? You know who would make an excellent Batman is Tom Hardy.
I don't know about Batman.
I think he would.
He's not as I don't. He's a great actor. He's a phenomenal. I love Tom Hardy. Don't get me wrong. I just don't feel like he could pull off Batman.
I think he could in his own universe of Batman. Like if they separated him, because he was in Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises Bane.
So, but awesome. if he was like in a reboot of Batman and he actually played Batman, then I think he could pull that off.
I don't know if he could pull off Bruce Wayne though.
That's where the issue is.
Have you seen the Cray film with him in, where he played the two Crays?
Yeah, he was. Oh, well, yeah, okay, good point.
He was pretty good in that, so I think maybe.
Myself, I am geeking out more about stuff that I'm doing at the moment. This week we kicked off episode 0 of If We Ran Nintendo, a podcast that I'm doing with myself and Sean Capri. Tuesday we actually recorded the first official podcast of it, and I'm excited for it. I feel like it's got potential to do pretty good. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from it. A lot of people are messaging me and telling me how much they enjoyed it. Just even the zero episode, kind of to give them an idea of where we're going. Just because like my main excitement for it is like, and I said it on the podcast, the 0 episode was, I don't see anybody doing anything like this. Like a lot of the podcasts that I listen to are a lot of the same stuff right now, and this kind of is different. It takes it in a totally different direction, and so I'm excited for that. And then just the whole Nintendo Guru channel has been doing really well lately, and again getting a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people. You know, subscribers are coming in pretty quickly. I wasn't expecting them to come in as quickly as they're coming in. You know, the support's just been overwhelming. Like Tony and I were talking about it last night, and it was just like it took us forever to get to where we were when we started. And I understand like some of the first reaction, people go, oh, well, that's just common sense. Like everybody just following you over. And that's not the case. Not everybody has moved over, which is fine. But a lot of the people that are coming over are new people that I never saw before. So that's what has me excited, is because it makes me feel like it's just not an offshoot of what I did with the Geek Guru. It's a little bit different in those terms. So I'm excited. And the nice thing is about this channel is like I am part of the Nintendo Creators Program, and a lot of people are down on that and like, oh, that it's a horrible program. Look, I never got paid from the Geek Guru channel. I don't expect to get paid from the Nintendo channel. What I like about this is, like, I did an unboxing the other day, and I used and it's a Bowser, it's a metal Bowser that I got from Samreal Paintress. And when I showed it off, I played Bowser's theme music from Super Mario Galaxy. I don't have to worry about that video getting taken down. I don't have to worry about nothing because Nintendo owns the rights to it. So it's like, that was why I became part of this. And like now, like Toby's videos will go full screen rather than kind of like inboxed a little bit. And like we can stretch our wings a little bit and kind of do things the way we want to do them. And that's what has me excited. Like, you know, like I just feel like being able to use gameplay footage to explain stuff now, it's just going to be so much more fun, you know, and that's what has me excited in all of this. And it's just the creativity level is just kind of, it's got my juices flowing where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Problem is I just want to do so much, and I don't know that I have the time to do it all. So,
yeah, it's definitely very cool though, not having to worry about putting footage up.
You know, because you've done Let's Plays, and you did Let's Plays with like Sony stuff, and then you did it with Nintendo stuff, and it's not like we're getting paid. We're not making any money off of this, but it's just that little asterisk that comes up. It's just like, oh, it's so frustrating because it's just like, because you know in the back of your mind that like at any time they can just wipe the sound out of the video, or they can just take the video down, and you have no opportunity to fight back on it and change it. Where with this, it's just awesome because it's like, hey, I don't have to worry about that no more. That's neither here nor there. Like, that's the least of my concerns. My main concern now is just put out content, and whatever I want to do, just do it. So I'm loving it. I'm enjoying that so far. Let's jump into what we're playing. Alan, what are you playing?
Second playthrough on Quantum Break. Not much more to add to the first time I said I was playing Quantum Break.
What's the reason for playing the second playthrough?
I wanted to see how the decisions you make will ultimately affect the kind of TV show aspects, because apparently it does change the skew of that, and also because it also changes up characters, because spoilers, certain characters you interact with will not be ones that make it maybe all the way to the end of the game. So it's kind of just to see how that affects the dynamic. So
kind of
like one game that ever made me do that.
Kind of a little bit like a Telltale game, but it's more you're actually doing stuff rather than Telltale. You're just making options.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, and they're the only other games I've kind of ever done the second playthrough on. So
that's cool.
Yeah, enjoying it again.
Toby, what are you playing?
I played the Final Fantasy 15 demo, Platinum demo, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It was kind of like, I'm used to Final Fantasies being a bit slower paced and turn-based battles and stuff like that. I mean, the last Final Fantasy I played properly was 12, but this one is very much sort of faster action combat. You know, your character can jump and you can drive a car and everything. And anyway, this demo was interesting because you played the main character from the game, but he's like a little kid and you're in his dream, so anything can happen. So you start off, you're in like some woods, and then you go into like a dining room and you're like borrower-sized, you're really small and everything's massive. Like, there's a giant dining table you got to get up on, and like throughout the demo you collect these little gems, and the more gems you collect you can unlock these little plates which give you weapons and magic. And the combat's very simple, but at the very end of the demo you get to this boss, which is like a classic Final Fantasy enemy, and all of a sudden you turn into adult version of yourself, and you've got like your proper sword, and you've got proper magic and proper like abilities, and it starts feeling like a real game. You know, it was a bit easy before because you couldn't really get hurt, but this is like quite tough, this battle at the end, and it kind of gives you a little taster of what the actual game's going to be like.
Where did you get the demo from?
It was just on PlayStation Store, so I just went on there, and it was like one of the main things.
Because I got the demo for Christmas. I had Tony buy me Final Fantasy R-Type 0 just because I wanted the demo. And the demo I played sounds totally different than what you played.
Yeah. They had an event a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It was hosted by Kinda Funny or whatever, and they showed off a bunch of new stuff for the game, gave a release date, and as a part of that celebration, they had this new Platinum demo. So it's totally different to what you played.
Because the demo that I played, I got a real vibe of like Monster Hunter and Xenoblade Chronicles, like that type of role playing, and it's just, I like it. I think it's cool. It's just, it doesn't remind me of Final Fantasy, and that's where I feel like they're just trying to diversify this game so much, and I think that's why I cling to Bravely Default so much, because that to me is like a true Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this game wasn't originally intended to be a traditional Final Fantasy. It was it was 13 Versus, which was a spin-off title, which is more action focused, and then they turned it into a mainline Final Fantasy game. So that's why the combat's quite different.
Yeah.
And but I like it. I think that it makes a good change. You know, I didn't play 13, but I heard that was quite linear, and this, you know, so far from the trailers and everything, it seems much more open. Like you're going on a road trip, and just playing this demo has made me much more interested in the game. So
yeah, I agree. Myself, I've been playing Ratchet and Clank. I just put some more time in this morning on it.
Screw you, Bobby.
So
just a troll, Toby.
I wasn't gonna buy it. I seriously wasn't gonna buy it. And then Toby told me how much he wanted it, and then I realized like it hit like 2 weeks before he can get his hands on it, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna buy it now. So I went and I bought it, and
I'm so happy. I'm happy you haven't put footage up on the channel.
No, I wouldn't do that. It's Sony anyway. I'm not doing that stuff.
You're the Geek Guru channel.
No, I know, but yeah, but I just don't. I'm not into Let's Plays. That's just, you know. But the thing of it is like it's funny that I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game before, so I feel like some of the jokes and a good portion of the jokes are kind of flying over my head. But I just said, you know what, I don't care. I'm gonna like go in and do this, you know, as is, and just enjoy the game for what it is. It looks gorgeous, like it really does. Plays good. Like I'm starting to get my feel for what I need to do and how to get about it and do it. So I like it. It's been a lot of fun, and I dipped my toe into Lost Reavers, which is the free-to-play game from Bandai Namco.
It looks awful.
It's a beta, so you got to kind of like give a little leeway with that. But it's at the same time like there's some bugs to it. It's a little bit of a mess. But again, it's a beta.
Does it look like a PlayStation 1 game?
No, I don't feel like it's that bad. Like when I played,
Does it look like Devil's Third?
When I played, and I only played.
Does it look like Devil's Third?
I didn't play Devil's Third, so I couldn't tell you. And I really didn't pay attention to Devil's Third, so I couldn't tell you. I put a little bit of time into it. Honestly, I only put about 15, 20 minutes in because I had to go to work, and I was just tinkering with it before I went to work. I'm going to play again today and give it some more time. But I didn't really necessarily have a problem with it. Like although the only thing I played was a tutorial, so I don't know. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's free, so why anybody can complain about it is what it is. It's not like you're putting out your money. You know, they're trying a different model. I'm willing to give it a try and see what it is and see what it's about. I don't, you know, but I'm not the type of person that's necessarily a graphics whore. I don't sit there and go like, oh my god, it's got to look this or this or this, or I won't play it. You know, like, dude, I grew up playing some garbage, you know, games that looked hideous, but they were.
How does it play then? Is it fun to play?
I enjoyed my time with it, like I said, but I only put like 15 minutes into it, so I need to put more time into it before I really say like it's a phenomenal game. Oh Lord! All right, so first topic: PlayStation experience, or Sony. I was going to say Nintendo. Sony did this. What is it, 2 years now, and seems to be going over very well. We got into the conversation in a private chat, and Alan, you brought up Space World, but I don't believe Space World's the same thing as what Sony's doing in those terms. Like, wasn't Space World kind of like a traveling roadshow per se?
No, it was. I can't remember where they held it. They held it. It was just kind of a showcase of everything Nintendo that was coming out, and they would announce new cool toys like the GameCube. And I think when you look at what Sony do with like the PlayStation experience, I think Microsoft do their own thing too now. I just feel Nintendo. I want to feel if NX is going the way they're going, which is like back on top. We're gonna fight the fight. We need like Space World. We need maybe not Space World, but something that's like just a full-on showcase of Nintendo where you can have folk going around booths. Just I want that old nostalgic feeling. I want to see Nintendo out swinging. Directs have got a place, but
I see a problem with that because the Nintendo Directs over the past year, in fact, longer than a year, people haven't been happy with the content. They haven't been happy with the games, the way the games have been shown, the presenters and that. People have had loads of complaints about Nintendo Directs, and I think that if they took that to their own stage show, like the PlayStation Experience, they would need to have, especially, they would need to have more third-party support to have those games to show off, because they can't just show off, They
don't have enough.
They can't just show off the games that they showed off in the last Direct. They can't have a show based on stuff like that. They need to have big hitting games. They need to have all the Nintendo staples, Mario, Zelda, Pikmin, Metroid, all of that stuff. But they also need to have big third-party games, and they just don't have that right now. So I don't think they could fill a conference, like a massive standalone conference, with just their game.
I think they could do a standalone conference, but I think it would be more than just. It would need to be more than just video games. It could be a way for them to discuss their theme park ideas that they're doing with Universal, the mobile device, the mobile games. They would have to encompass everything. If they continue to, which I believe they're going to start moving Nintendo World stores around the world. It could be something like that where they have announcements about that, like, hey, we're going into London this year, and we're going into France next year, and stuff like that. That could be stuff that they do as well. I agree that if it's strictly just the video games, I think they fall flat on their face because they're not ready right now with just the video games. They need, but the other thing is, I do feel like the Space World was more like a traveling roadshow, because I remember them being at E3, but I also know that they were in Japan at shows there. So it's kind of like they would follow the conferences around, like the major conferences, and they would put this thing, kind of like what they did at San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago. You could go to a hotel across the street and they had all the video games set up and all that stuff. So I think they're basically taking their cue to that and doing stuff where they're doing the shows, they're doing PAX and all this different stuff. I like the idea of their own conference. I just don't feel like they're ready at this point right now. Again, it depends. If they come out and go, hey, we're going to do everything. We're going to talk about, you could go into this section and deal with the My Nintendo rewards, or you can go over here and talk about our mobile games, or you can go over here and talk about our handhelds, or back over here and talk about our consoles, and then
it's true. I feel like this year I want them to have a conference at E3, but the only reason I want them to do that is because of the NX, and they can show off the console, show off the new games for it. If they didn't have NX come in, I'd say just stick to a Direct, because you're probably not going to have enough stuff to show for a whole conference.
The thing to back up though to something you said though before is, I don't feel like the Nintendo Directs are lacking. I feel like the problem is all the leaks are making them lacking, or making them feel lackluster, because they're not giving you anything. I was saying this morning in the NBC group to Ben Frisk, and I said to him, I said, look, because I posted a tweet that Emily Rogers posted that she's gone until May 1st or whatever, and then someone came underneath and was like, oh, does this mean that that's when the NX is coming out? And I had said, the problem is that when Nintendo finally announces what this thing is, if it is what we're getting, if all this stuff that we're being here is true, people will be like this, oh, that's it? That's all we're getting? Seriously? Everything that's been announced, that you're upset about that? And then if it's not that, then they're going to be upset because, oh, well, I wanted this, and that's not there. That's the problem. The problem is that, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to get their messaging proper. They're trying to take their time and do it right, because you only have one chance to make a first impression. So their feeling, I think, is we need to get all this data together and then go. That, I feel like, and I'm getting off on it, but I'm just kind of going back to the previous statement that Toby made, but I feel like that's where they need to take their time, figure out what they're saying, which they're doing, but when they say it, they need to say it in a big bad way and just blow it up. But I think that like that's where the problem with the directs are, is all the leaks and where we're at.
I think the problem for NX now is Nintendo never had a grasp on any of control over the message. Since they've announced it,
I don't think there's a problem with NX right now. See, but I don't.
Not a problem, but they have had no control over the message.
Well, so the thing is, there hasn't been a message though. It's like Nintendo has.
Sorry.
Nintendo have all they've said is NX is the thing. It's going to be something totally different, and that's it. Like they've not said anything. It's just rumors that people have been discussing. Yeah. So it's not like they've lost control of the message, because there was never any message to begin with. It's just what people have been lots of hearsay.
Yeah, but then fanboys do what fanboys do, and the hype, they build up in their mind what this is going to be. We hear that it's more powerful than PS4. And when it comes to the point, if it isn't as powerful as PS4, you're going to have a lot of really disappointed folk. And Nintendo haven't done anything to kind of get in front of it. Now, the May 1st thing kind of goes back to something Bobby thought, which is kind of end of April, May. Yeah, they're going to kind of drop a reveal. So maybe that does tie into it, and she's just kind of subtly saying, oh, I'm going to go away and I'll be back. Guess what? But Nintendo need to come out swinging. And that's why I'd like their first reveal of NX to be, you know, press get an invite, like an Apple event. Oh, we got this invite from Nintendo. What could it be? And it's like that starts the hype ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
The press, then you've got the live streams of folk arriving, the big black billboard photos, and then it's like, okay, we're in the theater, and it's a live internet broadcast of what's going to be NX. At the moment, if it's just a direct, do we lose out on something because it's not going to have that round of applause, the hoot and the hollering? Possible reaction.
I don't feel like it has to have that in order to be successful, because Sony's not going to announce, you know, like, well, they might come out to I feel like Nintendo doesn't do that well, the on-stage conferences. Like, there's been some home runs, but there's been a lot of strikeouts as well, because of, and I feel, the language barrier. Like, when you get up there and you have someone speaking and they don't speak very well English, and they're coming out and either it's being translated or it's, you know, if they brought Reggie out there or they brought Bill Trinan out there to address us, not maybe, and I'm saying us, just meaning like English speaking people.
I think Shibata as well, the president of Nintendo Europe, speaks really good English.
Yeah, so. And that could be like. That's where I think with the digital event, although, see, that's where it's kind of confusing, because E3 is a U.S. thing. That's not, like, Japan doesn't view E3 as anything. Like, I don't think Japan gets as hyped about E3 as we do. And you guys, I mean, ultimately, like, it's not even messaging for you guys. Is it? Like, some of the stuff that gets announced, you guys might not even get, right?
Yeah, sometimes the content between US and Europe is different. So your direct will have things missing from our direct and vice versa.
I'm talking about the digital events. So the
E3, so even
E3 digital event, like, you get a different. You don't get a different digital event. It's
we do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
I thought it was all the same. I thought it was all from.
No, it's different.
Okay, so I'm just thinking. Like, I think that, like, I don't know. And, you know, and to go back to real quick what Alan was saying was, I feel like what you're looking for, if you're looking for Nintendo to be on the defense, and every little rumor that comes out, you want clarification of is it true or not. And that's not what I want. I want Nintendo to be offensive, to come out swinging and go, this is what we're doing. We're blazing the trail like we did in the past. We're taking back control of this industry, and we're going forward. We don't care what Emily Rogers says. We don't care what Liam Robertson says. We don't care what all these little websites say. We dictate what gets said and when it gets said.
Give us a damn date of when they're going to show the thing off.
Again,
right now, it's like, is it May 1st? Is it the end of April?
But that's they're not ready. They're going to speak when they're ready to speak. Again, they're going to be offensive with this. They don't owe anybody a date. They don't owe anybody a reveal date. They don't owe anything. They've already done that. 2016. You want an exact specific date. They're not ready to give that.
I think we know we're going to get something end of this month, because there's no way investors aren't going to start poking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, and that's where I said originally when I said the end of April, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at the investor meeting, and I feel like we'll get some stuff out of that, because the last investors meeting they said we're not going to discuss it at this meeting. So I don't think they get away with the investors like pushing it off another time. The problem with that is they're not going to divulge a lot in the investors meeting, because that's not them really truly making an announcement. That's basically like the internet grabbing bits and pieces and spreading it around. I think that they'll do a little bit, and then we'll get a direct right after that. That's been my gut. That's the way I felt since the beginning of the year. And when we talked about it earlier in the year, that was what I said. I said April. I actually said March, April, somewhere in that time frame in spring, early spring, we will get a message. This is NX, boom, and then I feel like E3 is games. This is what you're getting, and you know what's going to happen. This is market as gospel, because I guarantee you. And Toby, I'm talking to you, because
this is in your diary, Toby.
This is about ALLAN, Toby.
Okay.
What's going to happen is they're going to make the announcement of the NX, and that's all they're going to talk about. And then ALLAN's going to get pissed because they don't talk about no games. And
no, I don't mind. I'm actually more of a hardware guy. I want to see what the damn hardware is. I don't
That's
care
the problem.
About the game. I know I'm going to get my Nintendo. I want to know what's in the box. What does the box look like?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? That's what I want to know. That's me. I just want to know what this bloody little thing is that's been taking up a year of my life.
That's because you got OCD. You're just
so all right.
No, it's because I haven't got a life. I sit drawing it.
Yeah, Alan wants to know what's in the box, but at the moment, most of the rumors we've been hearing lately are about launch games.
Yeah.
Segway.
So there was a lot of rumors about possible Wii U ports. Mm-hmm. So we've heard rumors that there's going to be four Wii U games coming to NX?
Yes.
Yep. So
now it's going more than that. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, they were talking about Smash Bros.
Right.
Yep.
And apparently Smash Bros is all but confirmed by multiple sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Zelda Wii U NX is the next one. And then Splatoon and Mario Maker.
Yes.
With the question.
And so, exactly. So, they're not sure about Splatoon and Mario Maker because they're very community-driven. Obviously, there's all the millions and millions of levels that people have made. They want that to carry over. So, they've got the trouble of all that data to bring with them. So,
I don't think that's an issue. I think that's people making up nonsense because they did it with Little Big Planet 3 times. So, I don't think that's an issue.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. So, what do you feel about that then? Do you think that bringing those for launch would be a good idea to pad out?
I've said it for months. I've been saying it for months on all the podcasts I'm on. Anytime that anybody asks me, and I say they need to have Splatoon, has to be there, whether it's Splatoon 2 or it's a port with some extra weapons and things like that. Like that's what I feel. I feel like they need to port Splatoon, throw in some new weapons, throw in a couple of maps. If you're not bringing Splatoon 2, but Splatoon needs to be there day one, no doubt about it. It's their biggest franchise right now. It's huge, especially in Japan, because they want Japan to buy this. So I feel like you bring NX, you bring a brand new Splatoon, some new maps, some new weapons, you're going to sell that system in Japan. I feel like Mario Maker is a must. That is a franchise that has to continue on. There's no doubt about it. And the nonsense that they can't bring the levels, no, I don't agree with that. Smash, another one, has to come over. The way I look at it is this. There's a lot of people that did not buy the Wii U. If Nintendo is serious about this being the resurrection and this being the one that brings us back up to where they should be, there's a lot of people that miss those games. And as many systems, as many consoles as Sony sold, they brought Last of Us over because they didn't feel like they felt like a lot of people missed that game. So, and there's other games that they brought over because they said, oh, you know what, I think people missed this and that. those four, well, not the fourth, but 3 out of the 4 games were missed by a big portion of the people you're trying to attract over. You have to have those games. But if that's all they bring, they're done. They're done. They might as well pack a lunch, they're done. They cannot rely strictly on those games.
Yeah.
That has to be the base. Like, here's our base. And, by the way, we're also bringing this, and this. Then they'll totally...
There was a follow-up rumor that boy on NeoGAF, he's saying, and this one kind of tied to an older one, that I think it's Next Level are working on Luigi's Mansion 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ties into an older rumor where that apparently it's going to be a graphic showcase for the system.
I would be happy with a Luigi's Mansion game. If it was... I mean, I loved Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. I didn't play 2 on 3DS.
It was good.
It was really good. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had the choice between those 4 Wii U games, or including Zelda, and Luigi's Mansion, I would buy Zelda and Luigi's Mansion because they're the 2 games I haven't played, and I've already got the other games.
Yeah.
Other people that didn't own a Wii U, I don't think that those Wii U games are necessarily going to bring them to NX because they didn't bring them to Wii U. But was that because the console was not to their liking, like people were put off by the gamepad, or are those games just not system sellers?
No, I don't think that... Okay, I don't feel like they're bringing those to sell the console. Because like you said, it didn't sell the Wii U. It's not going to sell them here. Those games are padded investments. So if Destiny is there, day one. If Madden is there, day one. If another EA game is there, day one. And then like Luigi's Mansion, there day one. And all, like, if they have a good group of games for the hardcore fans, not that Luigi's Mansion's hardcore or anything like that, but like Destiny, Madden, all these games that will like bring people over to the Wii U or to the NX. Then it's like, well, hell, I get all these new games. Oh, by the way, these games I missed, I could buy these too. So it's just an added investment, more or less. Because there's a lot of people that did want Smash, but they weren't willing to spend $300 for Smash. You know, there's a lot of people that wanted Mario Maker, but they weren't willing to spend $300 for Mario Maker. You know, so... But if it's something where you go, oh, I can get these other games I really want to play and I really want to try this console and I'm into this console. Oh, by the way, I get these other ones. Like, it's an example. Like, nobody was buying a PS4 for Last of Us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was buying PS3 for Last of Us. It was just, but hey, it's a bonus. Like, there's a great game that, you know what? I heard all these wonderful things about it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to try it. Like, yes, bring the best. You know what I mean? Like, that's my feeling. Because I feel like if you go back and you look at our E3 predictions from last year, Toby, Luigi's Mansion was on my list.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said it wasn't like I was just pulling it out of nowhere. I said it because of a couple of reasons. One, there is the Luigi's Mansion arcade game in Japan.
Yeah.
They brought Pokken Tournament, which was also announced the same time, brought out the same time in Japan as an arcade game, and Pokken Tournament's here now. So my feeling was like, that game's coming. They're going to bring Luigi's Mansion as well and go. It just makes sense that they still have that game, maybe brought Next Level in to say, hey, tinker with it, work with it, make it better, and then we're going to launch with it on the NX.
It scares me a bit, though, that these Wii U games, especially Splatoon and Mario Maker, they rely heavily on the gamepad. So that does, if it's true, that does mean there is some sort of second screen on the NX controller.
Yeah. Well,
that worries me.
That leads into the rumors that came out today, and that doesn't worry me because ultimately there is talks too. And who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Mark, and he was saying that, hey, look, it was the episode with Mark and Justin, I believe, and they said, like, who's to say that the 3DS doesn't become that controller that allows you to, because it has touch base and it does connect with Smash. So who's to say that they didn't tie something in, and if you have a new 3DS, you're able to then utilize
But that suddenly puts another £150 price tag on top of Mario Maker. If you want to play Mario Maker on NX and you haven't got a Wii U,
people, yeah, but you got to figure more people have a 3DS than have a
oh yeah, there's like 50, 60 million 3DSs.
Yeah. Or whatever, but, so I mean, there's people I know that own a 3DS that didn't buy a Wii U. A lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm just talking like you got to look in hypotheticals overall. Like I
don't want Wii U version 2. I don't want a Wii U 2.
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be. There's no way.
They've said that they're ditching the Wii brand and everything, and I hope that they've learned from their mistakes with Wii U. But just hearing this rumor about the Wii U games like being ported, it does think, is it just going to be a better gamepad? Like, is that it?
I don't buy that. I don't feel that way. And you got to think of it like this too. If it's the hybrid system that everybody expects it to be, there's your screen.
Well, this new rumor dictates that it's more of a kind of existing, like the Wii U gamepad, that the gamepad requires the system, but the new option is that you can hook your gamepad wirelessly to the Wi-Fi, like you can remote play PS4 to Vita and stream it. So if I'm at Toby's house, which has got good Wi-Fi, and I decide to play my games off my bad Wi-Fi, it streams across the internet and I can play it on the go as long as I've got a Wi-Fi.
That sucks though. Because there's going to be latency issues. There's going to be, you don't want to. Oh, I'm out with my friends at the park. There's no internet here. We have to go to a McDonald's. Oh no, the McDonald's has not got great internet. I'm having trouble playing my game. It's just not going to work. Like it has to be, if they're going to have that portable version. I think it has to be that you can take the game as a cartridge or whatever in the handheld itself.
Yeah. There's too many what ifs with a wireless internet-based system.
Yeah, we don't. I will say this: remote play on the Vita, it's pretty seamless. It's pretty spot on. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
but is that you sitting in your front room, like in your lounge?
No, that's me at my mom's house.
All right, yeah, you're at your mom's house or whatever. But
I was at my mom's house. I linked from my mom's house.
What about if you're on the train? You're probably not going to have a good experience then, or you're commuting on a bus or whatever. You're at a convention center, you're in McDonald's, you're in a game store, like all of these places that you might be playing a game, you're probably not going to have a good experience.
It depends on the setup. It depends on if, like, the remote play worked very well, but I wasn't playing with people. I was just playing by myself. I was just hooking up and playing by myself. Like, it's the same thing with my 3DS. Like, I never hook up with people and play.
What game was you playing though?
When
you was at your mum's house?
I was playing Minecraft, and I was playing. Oh God, I can't remember the other game I played. I played a couple of games just to try it, just to see.
I just feel like games like racing games and shooters, you need to have like split second, like no dropping of frames or latency issues or anything like that.
I know that Mark Carabin was playing Destiny one time, and he was at his brother-in-law's, and his brother-in-law was using his his PS4 at the house, and Mark linked to his PS4 at his house from his brother's house, and he was sitting on the couch, and they were playing together. So I do know that it does work. Shooters.
I think you got good broadband. If that's the gimmick of the NX, I can't do it because I've got a 0.7 upload speed.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it is. I have 0.7. I would literally not be able to play a shooter, a platformer. I could look at the menu. That would be cool.
Turn-based strategies. That's it.
Part of me wants
turn-based game.
So badly, part of me wants to be that so that I can listen to Alan scream every day.
I would Twitch stream that. I'd call it frustrated gamer, and it would just be like, I died again. Damn it!
Look, Alan's internet is so bad. His dreams buffer. Like he must like wake up every day with just like, oh my god,
It's like that old. It's like when we used to have dial-up for porn. It's like I'm having a sexy time dream, and then it's just like stop.
You gotta start the video. You gotta start the video, then pause it, leave the room.
Go away for
an hour later, come back, and then like 5 minutes has been put on there, and you have to like take care of business in 5 minutes. So my thing, so my thing is this: is like, so some of the rumors. Okay, so we got Luigi's Mansion, that's been a rumor. The other one was from Tillmandation, who was saying that like he heard from a friend that had. I don't believe rumors like that 9 times out of 10, but he's saying that Metroid will be announced to not be a launch title, but be in the launch year, first launch year. I think that's probably going to come, but I don't know that Metroid's coming in year 1. I really think Metroid's like a 2 or 3 year down the line. Because if we look at it all depends on who's working on it, honestly. Everybody wants Retro Studios to be working on it. I just don't think Retro Studios is working on anything that anybody has a pulse on at all.
There was another person.
Go ahead.
I heard Final Fantasy 15 is apparently getting ported to it. That was in the NeoGAF rumor.
That was in the NeoGAF rumor as well, which I kind of always felt because I believe that Dragon Quest XI was talked about by Square months ago. So if that's the case, they're bringing Dragon Quest XI, like straight up, if they announce that Final Fantasy 15 is hitting the NX, I will not buy it on the PS4. And I've wanted to get back into a Final Fantasy game so badly, and I actually have ramped up that I am buying Final Fantasy 15 no matter what, because I want to get back into the Final Fantasy world and all that stuff. If it's for Nintendo, I'm going to Nintendo. I'm going to NX with it, just because that to me has always been where I played Final Fantasy games. You know, like I played Final Fantasy 7. And it's good.
Man, it would feel weird to have a mainline Final Fantasy on a Nintendo home console.
See, that's what's for you. It would. For you, it would. But I played Final Fantasy 3, which was 6 on the SNES. I played Final Fantasy 2, which was 4 on the SNES. I played Final Fantasy 1, which I don't know which one that is. I think it's 2 in the Japanese version. Yeah. I played the first 3 ones that I played were on the NES.
Yeah. I grew up with 7, 8, and 9 on PS1, 10 and 12 on PS2.
Yeah.
You know, I did play all of the original ones, but that's when they bought them to a PS1 disc.
Yeah.
So I've played 1 to 6 on PS1 as well. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's everything you did with PS1. But for me, Nintendo made Square what it is. Nintendo worked with them very closely, built everything up. But the kicker for me is, and I think would blow the roof off the place, is if they announced Super Mario RPG 2 to hit the NX.
I would love that.
I think you would. It would explode because people have been wanting. Because when they divorced, when them two companies went their separate ways, that's where a lot of the issue was. And when Cloud came to Smash, I think it opened people's eyes to like, hey, these guys are talking again, and they're working together again. You know, that was not just bringing like Bravely Default and all these different weird games to Nintendo platforms. They're legitimately talking again. Like you could tell that there's whatever the issues were have been mended, and they're kind of working together again. So it's going to be huge, I think.
Yeah.
Alan, do you need to go?
I do. Okay. I have work.
Okay.
What's your next topic going to be?
It doesn't matter. You can listen to it later. Go ahead. Get out of here.
Like I'm listening to you two talk when I'm not on. Audience, I leave you in the capable hand. I leave you with. I hope you all make it through this alone.
We can't even understand 90% of what you just said.
I leave you with.
Oh Lord, he's horrible. Okay.
Wow, the quality increase.
Oh, big time! Like automatically, like right up. He kills us every week. Fans, I promise we will get Alan out of here eventually. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was just what makes you jump to a new console? Because we're kind of in the mix of all this as it is, and it kind of piggybacks off what we were just talking about. But what is it that makes you? And we'll go step by step. Okay, so what makes you buy a Nintendo console?
Well, I'm just a Nintendo fanboy. I always buy Nintendo consoles.
Mm-hmm.
When the Wii U was announced, I was like, pre-order. As soon as it came online, pre-order it, just because it's Nintendo. And I think I will always just be like that, just because I don't know. I've got a love of Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the Wii U was the only Nintendo console that I've bought that I had buyer's remorse. Like, I was a day one adopter for that thing, and within the first year, it was just dry of games. Like, and I felt like, and there was the price drop as well. It dropped. I don't know how much it was, but it dropped a lot. And I felt like I was being ripped off for. I felt like I supported them day one. I was there telling everyone how good it is, and then 6 months later, prices dropped. No, when they did that with 3DS, they did the ambassador thing.
Yeah.
So if you picked it up early, they gave you some free virtual console games.
They give you 20 games.
Exactly. And that wasn't that long before the Wii U. So I felt like they should have done something like that.
I feel like they followed the 3DS pretty closely in their tactics. Like, because at the time, 3DS was not selling. Wii U was not selling. And then they did the price drop, and they did the, they gave out all those games, and then they came out with Super Mario 3D Land, and they came out with Donkey Kong Returns for that. It was like a bunch of games that they did. And then it was like, okay, it worked, because then all of a sudden 3DS started selling like gangbusters. And they're like, hey, it worked here. Let's try it on the Wii U. Except for give us the games after they dropped the price.
Yeah.
And then they came out with 3D World, which was
Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, Tropical Freeze. It was like they followed it too.
So
okay.
I did feel a bit let down by it, and over the years I've picked up a lot of Wii U games. I've got way more Wii U games than PS4 games.
Yeah, me too.
And I do like the Wii U a lot, but I still play on PS4 more. I don't know why that is. I think that's just the social side of it.
Grand Theft Auto. That's all it is.
Pretty much.
If GTA out of the mix, you would not be playing that system.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's a definite not. Come on, that's the only game. That's 90% of your gameplay is Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, 5. It is definitely. I mean, we're getting off topic now, but
I know.
But
okay,
so the NX, like,
so what makes you buy the NX? What makes you go, I'm buying it day one?
Is Zelda. If Zelda Wii U is on NX, I'm going to want to play the best version of it, the most up-to-date, modern version of that game. And, like I did with the Wii, the Wii came out, I thought, brilliant, motion controls, best thing in the gaming ever, and it's got a Zelda game. So that's why I bought Wii on day one. So if they do the same with NX, I'm going to be a day one NXer.
Okay. So for me, I'm day one no matter what when it comes to Nintendo. And I don't know exactly what it is. I didn't have buyer's remorse with the Wii U. I enjoyed the Wii U. I was kind of still in that mode of defend Nintendo for everything at that point. But I was enjoying the games that they were giving me because I didn't have a PS4 at the time. So I was kind of in that Nintendo ecosystem where if a game, I was either playing my 3DS or my Wii U. And that was basically what we were left at. Like, in order to get the most out of Nintendo, you needed to be fully entrenched in the Nintendo ecosystem. And I was at that time. So I don't feel like I wasn't as bothered by it. Like, I also got it, because when did it launch? It launched a month before Christmas.
Yeah, I think so.
So Tony bought it for me for Christmas. So it was like a month before I actually got it. So when I got it, I had the first update, which that thing was so slow. People don't realize. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. That's another reason I was bummed out, because the console, the operating system on the console was awful. Like going between menus was slow, loading up games was slow, just everything about it was awful.
And they fixed that, and it came out. It got better.
Yeah.
But it took a year before the game started coming.
Yeah.
And I feel like once Donkey Kong hit, it got better. Like the games started to come a little bit because we were getting games like once every other month, stuff like that. Like, listen, there are some huge flaws with the Wii U. I'm hoping that they don't follow suit with the NX and do the same stuff, but I will definitely buy an NX day one just because I love Nintendo games, and I buy almost every Nintendo game that hits. I just love them all. So for me, NX is a no-brainer. I'm getting that day one. I think the bigger question comes to if PS4K is legitimate, what makes you jump onto the 4K?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that, and it honestly makes me annoyed. Like, you know, because I bought this PS4 and it's a great console as it is. I don't think they need to upgrade it, but if they upgrade it, and all of a sudden there's games that are exclusive to it, or exclusive features within games, or even the games just run at 60 frames and the graphics are way better, I'd feel like I'm not getting the best version of these games.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, what would push me over the edge. Whether, you know, I don't know whether that would be enough to want me to trade in my current PS4 and get a newer one. Part of me thinks I've got the 500 gigabyte PS4, and that is almost full to the brim. Like, I can't, even the disc games install on it, so I can't download anything more. You know, I've got a little bit of room for some videos that I have to delete every now and then. So I could get an external hard drive and upgrade it that way, or I could think, all right, maybe now is the time to trade it in and get a bigger hard drive PS4, and at the same time get the better version of the PS4. So that might be something that makes me consider it.
I'm annoyed if it, like you said, because I only bought my. I didn't even. It hasn't been. Sorry. It hasn't even been a year that I've owned this thing. So to think that a year later, and I know a lot of people are comparing it to like the 3DS, but you're talking $400 compared to $200. Like, it's a big difference, you know. And to think that, like, I just shelled out $400 last year to buy this thing, and I don't even have a year under my belt, and already I gotta, you know. And then people compare it to like iPhones and things like that, and it's like I just feel like it's a little different. It's you know, because like when you compare to a phone upgrade that you get every year, yes, phones are expensive, just as expensive and all that, but it's not like I can't text message the same. It's not like I can't run Facebook the same, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to upgrade, you know. And it's not like you have to upgrade on this, but if games start to run bad because they're geared for the 4K, that's gonna stink. It really is.
Imagine if it's a scenario like Hyrule Warriors on new 3DS compared to the old 3DS. There is a massive difference in performance there. So if that is the sort of difference we can expect to see from games, then that's going to be disappointing to say the least.
Very disappointing. And my thing is like, part of me thinks that, like Nintendo, because Sony's not saying anything, the rumors and speculation is getting ahead of people. When it first got announced, my feeling was here's 4K, and what it is it can run movies in 4K, things like that. Like, okay, cool, no big deal. I feel like, because when you buy PSVR, you have to buy this. It comes with this additional stuff to run. I feel like PS4K is basically a PS4 with the VR stuff packed into it, so you don't have to buy that additional stuff. That's what my heart of heart feels it is, and I hope that's what it is. And maybe it comes with more memory, things of that nature, because I think you might need more memory in order to run 4K or run PSVR. But I don't know. And honestly, I feel like I don't think that I would jump on for PS4K. I think that I would wait
I mean, I feel the same, that I'm not into VR at the moment, and
not at all.
I, like you say, haven't got a 4K TV, haven't got any 4K streaming services or anything. So for those two reasons, they're a non-issue for me. There's no way I'd be upgrading for those.
Yeah.
I would upgrade for the games and the storage space.
Yeah,
those would be the two reasons I'd want to upgrade.
But I don't know that I would. But for me, I don't know that I would upgrade for those. I think I would just wait until it gets to the point where they're like, because like, if here's an example, if they come out with a new Uncharted 4 in the fall to coincide with this, and it runs better and it looks better and all this stuff, I would be so, I don't know. I think it would start to annoy me a little bit.
It's like remasters. Like, if you bought a game for PS3 that you really liked, that even if it had been out for a while, but you've only just bought it, and then a month later they announce a remaster for PS4, then you feel, oh, I wish I'd waited. I wish they told me. Yeah. If they did the same thing with Uncharted, if everyone buys Uncharted on PS4, 2 months later they're like, we're making a director's cut for PS4K, it'd be like, why did you do that to me? Like,
yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm kind of so then let's just move to Xbox because neither of us own an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
What would get you to buy an Xbox One, or has anything gotten you to the point where you're like, I want an Xbox One?
Around Black Friday last year, I was considering buying one because they had some good deals, and there was the new Tomb Raider game that had just come out that was exclusive, plus Rare Replay. I was a big fan of Rare during the N64 days, so I was wanting to replay some of those classic games. But other than that, like those two games, I was a bit, there's not really much else on the system that I really, really have to play. So, and I knew that Tomb Raider was coming to PS4 in a year's time anyway. Yeah. So I thought I'll just save my money, hold off, put that money aside for NX, Yeah. So at the moment, there's still not really that many games exclusive to Microsoft that I'd buy an Xbox, I think there'd have to be like maybe 5 or 6 games that I just couldn't play anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I've come close recently with Quantum Break, and then with Cuphead coming, and then Ori and the Blind Forest. So I'm really, and if Recore hits and Recore comes, we haven't seen a lot of Recore, but Recore has my attention. If Recore hits and it's as good as it looks so far, and I get more excited, I think come this Christmas season, I may start looking at an Xbox One, but I don't know either. But for me, it's like, for Nintendo, it's a no-brainer. I just jump on board. And plus, it's not like these consoles for Nintendo are like a lot of money that make it difficult for me to afford out the gate. Like, $300 isn't that big a deal. And it's not like $400 is that much. I mean, it's still a lot of money. But it's like Nintendo just always seems like it's, especially before this, like the Wii U was the most expensive console that we've ever gotten. But like before this, it was like, oh, wait, $200, boom. No problem. Oh, you got a new 3DS coming out? Okay, $200, boom, go ahead. No big deal. But like when you start to get into the $350, $400 range, you got to save for that stuff, and you got to start thinking like, okay, what's it going to take? And for Xbox, when that first came out, that was closer to $5, I thought, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because you had the Kinect built into it, and Sony was going to be that way too until they took the camera out of it and all that stuff. Yeah. So I feel like, price dictates a small portion for me, but games, what's coming at that point, what's going to make me. Xbox seems to be now getting to the point that like, hey, we got a lot of what you want, come on over, and they're starting to hedge me that way. Sony for a very long time had nothing on the console.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to hit with a lot of, not now, like the past year, been hitting with a lot of good stuff. So,
and the thing I feel between PS4 and Xbox One is like the consoles are quite similar. The games, they share a lot of games, like third-party games, and the reason I don't really want an Xbox is because I've already got a PS4. A lot of the games run on PS4, are better than they would on Xbox.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I had the choice, PS4 is a more powerful console. It's usually cheap. Well, it was cheaper. They're about the same price now. But if I had that choice, it seems a no-brainer because you've got good exclusives on both, but the third parties run better on PS4. Yeah. So I'm hoping the NX is going to be different enough to the PS4 and the Xbox One, like whether it's a lot more powerful or it's just got some sort of new gimmick or way to play that's actually good. So then that way it's not like, do I get an NX, a PS4, or an Xbox because they're all very similar? It's just the exclusive games that are different,
And that's where I feel like Nintendo wins, because Nintendo has a lot of exclusives, a lot. And I mean, you look at it, if you were to throw all of the Wii U lineup at you, and the way it came out, don't change anything about it, but have third parties involved as well. I don't think Wii U does as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah.
Because
I do feel that the system...
Like Sony doesn't give us an exclusive every other month.
No, but I think Sony's, like, their system is just better. Like, it's got it's got a lot more features to it. NX is... the Wii U is a very basic system in comparison. Yeah. It has some apps that are similar, but it lacks a lot of the apps that the PS4 has. Yeah. It lacks the video recording feature. It lacks party chat. There's all these like little things that I just think the NX needs.
But I'm talking games wise. I'm just discussing.
But games wise, Nintendo always has a lot of exclusive games.
Yes, they have the exclusives, and that's the thing. Like Sony doesn't. Like I said, Sony doesn't put out exclusives every other month.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like if Nintendo had the third party support. Let's be honest. If Nintendo sold, if the Wii U sold, we're not even talking about the NX right now. That's the problem. The console didn't sell. Yeah. Third parties didn't support it. They needed this change in order to get things shaken up. I just feel like that's what makes me buy a Nintendo console day one, is because I love the I love the exclusives that come to Nintendo. And I want to play Zelda. I want to play Mario. I want to play Metroid. I want to play Donkey Kong, Yoshi. Kirby, but Mario Kart I want to play.
What's exciting as well is that they were talking about merging the handheld and home console divisions into one. And if they do that and they're making games together for one console, there's going to be twice as many games.
And that's where I feel like, because that's where I was saying, like, I was so involved in the ecosystem of the Wii U or Nintendo that, like, okay, I was getting games, a couple of games a month, because I was either getting them on my 3DS or my Wii U. And that's where I was like, I was bouncing back and forth between the two. Like, Bravely Default took up a good portion of my time, and once Bravely Default finished up, I jumped on Tropical Freeze, and then when I got done with Tropical Freeze, I went to Mario Kart, and then and then I went to Yoshi, and then I went, so it was like I was constantly moving. And Animal Crossing took up tremendous amount of time. That like I had no time to play anything else. I put like 600 hours into Animal Crossing, so I that's where I feel like, because I was bouncing back and forth, I didn't have an issue with it. But anyway, we're way over time today, so. Yeah. Let's cut it off where we are. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching this episode on YouTube. If you did that, if you are listening to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, we fully appreciate that as well. You can follow Toby a couple of different places. Twitter is at Toby's_take. Instagram is at Amiibo_workshop. You can follow me two places, two ways, Instagram and Twitter. You can either follow at the Geek Gurus or at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Cub Scout.
Bye. That new outro, man.
It's nice.
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Yeah, man.
That is so PG-13, man.